Let's move on now to a good set of numbers from DB Corp. Girish Agarwaal has joined in to talk about that. Girish, good morning. After a couple of tepid quarters, advertising growth is back in double digits. Would you say this was a turnaround quarter for advertising?
Yeah, it looks like, because after the three tough quarters, this quarter we finally touched the decent double-digit number, almost going up to 12% of advertising growth. And good thing is that the January month also looks strong so far. So it looks like that even this quarter, the last quarter, should end on a decent note.
Can you just give us more data on that? I mean, because one reason could have been that last quarter was a festive quarter, but you're saying it's spilling over to this quarter, which means many segments are actually seeing continued traction.
True. See, if you see the last quarter, which was a festive quarter, and the same festivity stays in the last year also. So when I compare year on year, there's been a growth of 12%. And this January, which is also not a very festive quarter, but the growth continues in this quarter also. So the last 15 days of the January, what we see has been a decent number so far. So we feel that the momentum which was waiting to be picked up in the advertising has kind of, coming in, and the numbers are looking stronger. And important is that not only in a specific category, all across, whether it's automobile or FMCG or a lifestyle, all these categories are showing a decent growth. So that's a positive sign.
Girish, morning. So good enough for you to be confident about double-digit growth for this quarter as well on the ad revenue front?
We are hopeful that should happen because see, the advertising has to reflect the sales which is picking up in the market, and few categories which are really striving hard to ensure that they sell in the market, they need to go back to the advertising, because in the last 2-3 quarters we saw suddenly most of the marketers were lying low, saying that okay, if the sales is not happening, why should we advertise? But they realize that doesn't happen that way. You need to keep pushing it to the customer so that they really get tempted to buy. So advertising plays that role.
You had a couple of other problems, including newsprint inflation, etc., and that was attacking margins along with the ad revenue sluggishness, Girish. But are you feeling more confident now that margins can remain stable even for the calendar year?
See, if you notice the cost of the newsprint on a quarter to quarter, which means the Q2 and Q3, there's been only a 1% growth. So that clearly indicates that the newsprint prices have kind of flattened out. And the indication what we are getting for going forward also are similar. So I think that's a major relief to the entire industry on the cost side of the newsprint, because there's been a number higher on that side. And if you look at my PAT growth, I'm at around 28% growth on the PAT. So that clearly indicates that we have been able to control the cost in the various segments, various other elements what we do. And also, most importantly, the advantage to me is that my emerging additions of Maharashtra and Jharkhand, they are now panning out pretty well, gaining the ground. And hence my losses on those, investment on those additions is coming down. So that's helping me to improve the PAT and the EBITDA also.
Quick word on the radio business as well, which seems to have grown at more than 20%, Girish, in the quarter.
See, radio has been, if you overall notice in last 2-3 years, I'm noticing radio growth is much higher than the print growth. Maybe for a simple reason, because the total size is pretty small. So if the 21% growth in the radio is good, but the size is pretty small to be really bragging about it.
Good luck for the remaining quarters. Thanks for joining in today. That's DB Corp. Stock is up 2%. Good numbers from that company.